aí, galera do YouTube, Paty Dia na área com mais um vídeo pra vocês. Hoje eu trouxe um joguinho que a gente ganhou da desenvolvedora pra gente conhecer juntos e jogar junto. Kona Brume. Acho que é assim que se pronuncia, né? Qualquer erro vocês já estão acostumados. Vamos lá para a gameplay. Kona Brume. Infelizmente, eles não colocaram legenda em PT. A legenda é só em espanhol. É triste, eu sei, é muito triste. Uma legendinha em PT ia deixar a gente muito feliz, né? Mas, como não temos, vamos de espanhol. Uma aventura e uma experiência para jogadores que querem uma experiência. Vou colocar aqui no primeiro só pra gente conhecer, tá? Sem narração, com narração. Vou deixar com, tá? Eu não conheço o jogo, eu sei que já tem o primeiro, esse aqui, se eu não me engano, acho que é o segundo. Vou conhecer junto com vocês, tá bom?
I must take a moment today to thank the boldness of our government and our shareholders.
William Hamilton built his venture on the ashes of the Second World War. The copper mine he envisioned was ransacking the First Nations' ancestral territories, drawing the wrath of the local people. It definitely took nerves of steel to stay the course, despite all this hostility. Before long, in the face of William Hamilton's cold and uncompromising stance, the petitions and peaceful protests turned into sabotage, vandalism, and other criminal acts. The industrialists' private properties also encountered the wrath of the demonstrations. Carl Faubert, a veteran of the Korean War, was hired from Montreal as a private detective to shed some light on this whole thing. But at the end of his long journey to northern Quebec, the detective did not only encounter property damage, he also came face to face with the corpse of William Hamilton. The strangeness only kept building throughout the investigation. A powerful, unseasonable blizzard hit the region. Bodies frozen in unbreakable ice appeared. The local fauna began to act strangely and aggressively. Carl Faubert began to doubt his own sanity. The detective felt the weight of a gaze, as if he were at the mercy of a powerful, feral creature waiting for the right moment to attack. Carl's fear was taking over, overpowering his reason. He was giving in to delirium. In that instant, he thought that the dark waters of the lake might shield him from the shapes that pursued him. From there, he had a renewed hope in civilization, or whatever was left of it. Carl knew that on one of these shores stood William Hamilton's lavish mansion, and there the detective had hopes of finding a way out of the area. A phone, a truck, who knows? Under the luxurious paneling and damask carpets, he might be able to find answers to his questions.
Aí eu falo pra vocês, um jogo desse deveria ter legenda em PT.
The detective wondered about the floating debris. Had it drifted out from the shore, or had it been abandoned there in the middle of nowhere? Carl saw a boat in the distance, clearly piloted by one of his own. Had he finally made it to civilization? His hopes were immediately drowned out by the sound of gunshots. Time to flee again, and fast. Carl swam without a thought, yet each stroke was desperate. The icy water and his wounds made him feel weaker and weaker. He had to get to shore. And the hypothermia were tearing at Carl's poor body.
Ó, pelo que a
When he
gente pode
finally
ver
saw
ali,
light
ó, o
in the
jogo ele
distance, he was
tem
filled with a faint sense of hope.
tolerância a mudanças de
Could it
tempo,
be
né?
a
Que nem tá
refuge?
vendo ali, ó. Ele tá necessitando de calor e a vida dele tá baixa. Então é um jogo bem na pegada de sobrevivência mesmo, né? Tá com a ausência do calor e tá com pouca vida. Provavelmente deva sofrer efeitos do tempo. Eu particularmente gosto de jogos nessa pegada assim. Gosta muito.
Carl struggled to wake up. His makeshift bandages offered him little time. If he wanted to find the truth, he had to get to Hamilton Manor without delay. The journal was the rock to hold on to in a rushing waterfall of memories. A tool Carl was happy to have back. Carl left his refuge, knowing that he was headed to a more comfortable but otherwise ominous place, Hamilton's mansion.
tá vendo? Eu corri, aí meu boneco ficou exausto. Controlar tudo. Família, saúde, tempo fora de casa.
He knew that wolves do not attack people. Still, he had to be careful. The ice looked recent. Better not test it. Carl tried to put the horror into perspective. Accidents happen, and in the inhospitable far north, it happens more often than not. Nevertheless, a feeling of déjà vu stayed with him, as if the carnage was not over. The plan suggested that a package had to be retrieved not far away. Carl had to keep his eyes open. What were these mysterious fragments? And why was there a warning about the Brume? This letter raised more questions than it answered for the detective. This was the mansion of the late William Hamilton. No doubt about it. There was no other rich industrialist in the area to have a sumptuous mansion built in the middle of nowhere.
Si vous entendez ceci, ce message est crucial. Trouvez un endroit où vous mettre à l'abri. Ne sortez qu'en dernier recours. Si vous avez à sortir, armez-vous et méfiez-vous de quiconque porte les couleurs de la Hamilton Mining Corporation. Tenez-vous le plus loin possible de la faune. Les animaux sont devenus extrêmement agressifs. Je répète, tenez-vous le plus loin possible des animaux et méfiez-vous de quiconque porte les couleurs de la HMC. Si vous entendez ceci, ce message est crucial. Trouvez un endroit où vous mettre à l'abri. Ne sortez qu'en dernier recours. Si vous avez à sortir,
This letter, found in the cabin, mentioned a gazebo. The key to the mansion would likely be there.
Achei a chave. Não é dessa porta. Será que não? É dessa, a princípio. A briga aqui fora.
Added to the mayhem was violence. Carl understood that a tragedy had occurred here.
Nossa, a geladeira abastece a mofra. Ah, tá.
Carl was overcome with a strange emotion. The crossword puzzle was in French, so he guessed it was the work of a Hamilton employee and not Hamilton himself. Carl was overcome with a strange emotion. The crossword puzzle was in French, so he guessed it was the work of a Hamilton employee and not Hamilton himself. From a simple case of vandalism to a mysterious murder, Carl found himself right in the middle of a battlefield. What could possibly await him now? feel his muscles weakening,
Caiu.
his breath wheezing, his body going numb. What was happening to him? The floor was rocking. The walls seemed to be running from Carl's hands as he tried to steady himself. Something was not right. Carl's thoughts were twisting in his head, making him dizzy.
Dá uma chave pra abrir a porta.
Struggling to move forward. His feet could hardly find their way in front of him. He doesn't know which way he came from or the way he's going. Everything seems to be going in a circle, a spiral carrying. Carl suddenly feels like he's waking up, but inside the dream.
Então, vocês viram, é um jogo bem de investigação, né? Investigação, exploração,
Cold
sobrevivência.
hits
Por
him
isso que eu falei
suddenly,
que
like a
faltou,
bucket of freezing water.
faltou uma legenda em
But he
PTBR,
completely
né?
lost it.
Pra gente ter uma melhor
Was he
compreensão
supposed
do
to
jogo.
accept the manor's strange architecture, suddenly leading him to the middle of nowhere? These imposing structures seem to come from the depths of time, or from a moon landing, or even from his own mind, clouded after an afternoon nap. The detective had no idea how it worked, but the stones seemed to slide on the rails smoothly as soon as the totem pole was rotated.
Aqui logo de cara a gente tem um puzzle, mas é difícil resolver ele assim, né? Logo de cara. ver direitinho como é que funciona essa parte do puzzle. A cabeça ele é virada para a cabeça branca. Ai, gente, aqui tá muito calor. Como tá, Kate? Olha, esse puzzle aqui eu não entendi direito. Porque a gente tem as cabeças, certo? Se for pela lógica ali da cabeça, é seguindo aquela vermelha. E aqui é a cabeça que tá nossa. Só que aí eu tenho mais um. Nada a ver. Aqui.
He did not know
Acertei.
how or why. What Carl sensed that something in this game had been completed, and now they wanted to
Alô,
lead him to
gente.
this cabin.
Acertei!
The detective felt like he was sleepwalking, pulled by a larger force towards the light that was calling him, as if it was asking to be set free. The stone that resonated in the room must have been one of the fragments HMC had been seeking. If he isolated it, Carl hoped he might come to his senses. The pulse of the stone invaded Carl's mind, and he felt a strange, dark presence take shape within him.
Sinistro!
Carl could make out some trophies here and there that he had seen earlier in what seemed like a dream. The whistle slowly dying down like a kettle going out meant only one thing for Carl. Mission accomplished. This wolf had a strange appearance, larger than average, and these blue eyes, that icy stare. Carl felt an instinctive terror rise in him. his wolf to man, said the philosopher. Seeing the state of this poor woman, one could only imagine such fury, which would explain the barricades and the fright that Carl could sense in the chaos of the place. What had happened here was not caused by a man. Carl couldn't put his memories in order, but there was a more pressing issue. The decaying mansion had collapsed on top of him, trapping him in the basement.
Bom, gente, o jogo não é essa pegada, é um jogo de exploração, né? Você vai ter que explorar, conhecer a história, investigar. Vai ter alguns bichos, algumas coisas pra você lutar contra. Infelizmente é uma pena porque o jogo ele não é tão antigo assim, né? Ele é desse ano. Poderia ter colocado uma legenda em PTBR para que a nossa imersão no jogo fosse ainda melhor, mas infelizmente não tem. Isso deixa a desejar porque a gente fica meio perdido na história, sem saber direito. A não ser que você seja muito fluente no inglês ou no espanhol. Caso contrário, fica bem difícil assim de acompanhar a história do jogo, porque falta a legendinha, né? É isso, meus amores. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Mais uma vez, obrigada pela produtora ter nos fornecido o jogo para que a gente pudesse conhecer um pouco do que o jogo oferece. E é isso. Qualquer dúvida, deixa seu comentário aqui. Gostou? Deixa aquele like gostoso. Se inscreve no canal, que você já me ajuda muito. Um beijo, se cuidem e até a próxima.